Some of you agents right now have not earned the right to charge a premium commission. Don't hate me. Don't hate me. This is the truth. You haven't earned the right to charge 5%, 6%, 7%, 8%, 9%. You haven't earned it. You haven't built the right processes, the skills. You don't have enough experience in the marketplace. I'm not saying that when I first started, I should have been charging top dollar, and I didn't. In fact, there's often times where I did deals for 1%. My perceived value from the prospect based off of my level of skills that I had at the time. As I got better and as I got my processes better and as I built a better team and as I got more experience and as I got more confidence, when people said, hey, we don't believe your perceived value is here, what you're asking for, we believe it's somewhere here. I was like, ooh, the needle's moving up. Now the gap is smaller from where I want to be and where they believe we should be. Yo, what's up? Vikram Deal here. Hey, so I wanted to welcome you back to my channel. If you're not following me and you want to learn more about why we trigger sales resistance, why some agents are doing 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 deals a month, why some teams always seem to be doing better than other teams, and you just haven't quite figured it out, like the stuff you were taught pre-lockdown, pre-COVID no longer seems to work, right? You plateaued, you're putting in the effort, right? You want to double or triple or quadruple your sales, but you don't have that much time in your day, right? Let's be real. We can only do so many appointments. We can only work so many hours, right? Like at the end of the day, at some point, we tap out, we max out. We don't have the lifestyle we want that we promised our spouses. Hey, when we quit that corporate job, right? So many agents I know are driving Uber late at night so their kids don't know. They're doing DoorDash, right? They're doing things to supplement their income, right? So they can have the lifestyle so their kids don't suffer, because when they got into real estate, they made a commitment. So many team leads are cutting their teams, right? They're cutting their admin staff. They're dropping agents. Why? Because they lack one thing. They lack the skills in a post-COVID, post-lockdown world that causes the prospect to want to work with you, right? What happened in the pre-lockdown world was that certain things you were taught worked, right? Now, were there things that worked better during that time? Of course. But there were certain things that you could get away with because the consumer was different. What happened during lockdown is the consumer behavior changed. And when that happened, the world as we know it is no longer the same, right? My grandma knows how to use FaceTime. She knows how to use Zoom, right? She knows she's 80 plus years old. And she learned all of these things because that was the only way she could talk to her grandkids, her great grandkids, the only way she could see her daughters, her son, right? Was through these technologies. So she learned the new communication skills that we never thought we were going to need to learn, right? My grandma can learn the skills necessary to get an iPad going better than I can. I guarantee you that with a little bit of practice and a little bit of time, you too can learn the exact skills necessary in a post-COVID world to get your prospects to want to work with you. And there's 3 things that we need to focus on in this video, right? There's 3 things we need to focus on in this video. I took some notes. Number 1, I don't know where I got this quote from, but I can tell you who I got it from. I don't know who he got it from, but Myron Golden, great guy, right? He said, amateurs practice until they get it right. Professionals practice until they can't get it wrong. Amateurs practice until they get it right. The mindset of a professional is that you can't get it wrong, right? You are so confident, so grounded in your process that you can't get it wrong. Number 2, we need to talk about our delivery methods, our tonality, right? Are we consciously communicating? Are we using a conscious tonality? Are we consciously listening? Are we asking conscious questions? Are we just reacting to what the prospect says and hoping and praying that it's going to work, right? It's not your fault that your brokerage doesn't know these skills. These are new skills in our marketplace. These are brand new skills in our marketplace. Yes, they've been around for decades and centuries, but the application to real estate wasn't as important. So of course, your team leader, your broker, your brokerage, right? Even I'm with Real. And I hear the stuff that agents say. And I'm like, oh my God, that's regurgitated from 2014, 2019. Doesn't work as effectively. And unless you have an unrestricted amount of time and you have 40 hours a day that you can work, so you can work 18 hours a day on the phone, and you could call people and you can door knock and you can do more open houses, you can buy more leads. If you have those unlimited resources, hey, drop me a message because I need to talk to you, because my day is capped, right, at 24 hours a day. So if you have some unlimited resources, like, hook it up, bro. Hook me up, mamacita. But if you're like me, you don't. All right. If you're like me, you don't. All right. So we need to get more effective in the days, right? We need to get more effective with our hours. We need to be more effective with what we're doing. Because remember, amateurs practice until they get it right. Professionals practice until they can't get it wrong. I want to be a professional. I want you to be a professional. I want you to walk into your listing and into your buyer appointment, right? I want you to have your system so locked in that you know the minute we get that listing signed, we do X, Y, and Z. The minute the buyer agency is signed, we're going to do X, Y, and Z. It's going to go bam, 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 right? The problem with a lot of us in real estate is that you go through this stupid clock hour course, you get your license, you're given a book of scripts, right? Somebody says, hey, here's some scripts, right? Here's some scripts. Just so you guys know, like, whenever I write a new script, I print it up, right? So like, this is my PSW framework on how to dig deeper, right? Like, this is my 7-figure playbook, right? Version 2.0, right? I write it out and I go through it line by line, word by word, right? Because it's not amateur hour. I'm not practicing to get it right. I'm practicing that I can't get it wrong, that when I teach, I come from such a grounded place of knowing because I've put in the effort, right? Because this is a long-term game, right? When you think about this long-term, right? If you're only thinking about now business, you're going to miss out on all business. If you think about long-term business, you're going to start to find people that want to buy now. You're going to find people that want to sell now, right? Even the people that want to sell now, like some of my clients like Jan and Molly and Mario and Ryan, right? Like they're talking to me, right? They send me messages like, hey, I got a new listing. I'm like, oh, cool. When is it listing? 30 days, 60 days, 90 days. They sign the agreement today, but it's going to take 30, 60, 90. Sometimes it's 4 to 6 months down the road before the person's actually ready to list. Hey, Vic, remember when you did that one thing? Remember you took pictures in the summertime, but then you listed it in the wintertime and you're the only house that popped? Yeah, totally, Ryan. I just did that. Thanks, bro, for the tip. Dude, that's awesome. When are you guys going to list? After Christmas, just like you, right? It's a family that wants to spend their last Christmas in the home before mom and dad go to the retirement house. Oh, that's super cool. So they want to be there at Christmas, but what I told them was like, yeah, we can list it in January, but why don't we get it ready now so that when January rolls around, we've already done all of our exterior photos, right? We've already done all of our interior photos of the rooms that we can stage and we can get ready that nobody's going to be in. We can already start the process so it's a little less emotional for mom and dad, right? Why don't we start now? And the clients are like, oh my God, that's amazing. We thought we were going to have to start all that. No, why don't we start now? We'll take photos. Let's go plant some petunias or whatever, get them in full bloom. You guys spend 30 days. I'll send over a couple of my designers. They'll tell you what needs to go out. You can start to move some stuff into other rooms that we don't need, right? Some of the secondary rooms, but all the rooms that are out window facing, they'll be full of light. So the buyer, when they're looking online, they know what the home looks like in the winter and the summer. And they're like, oh my God, that's amazing. You were so different than everybody else, right? Because he's being a professional, right? Conscious listening to what the prospect's problems are, what their needs are, what they're actually trying to solve versus just telling them a bunch of things. Hey, Mr. and Mrs. Seller and kids, can I just throw out maybe something a little different? Yeah, what's up? Would it be like, would you find it beneficial, like if you were looking through the MLS, you were on like Zillow or Redfin or Realtor.com, and you're seeing hundreds and hundreds of homes, if you saw a home that was full of life, right? It had all the summer vibrancy of it. and every other house was covered in snow. What would you feel when you saw, oh my God, that'd be crazy. And then he shows two homes, a summer home and a winter home. He's like, which one do you guys like more? I'm like, well, obviously the one that has the winter is nice. It's cute, but like, man, the flowers and the light. Well, what if we could do this for you, but list it after Christmas so you guys still get exactly what you want? You still get that Christmas, that time together, right? What if we could actually come up with a game plan where we do all of the work now and we slowly, because he was listening, right? He was conscious. He wasn't a robot just reading. He's been practicing. He's a professional. So he knows the right questions to ask and the right format to ask them and to bake the right cake. And they're like, we're sold, done, let's go. What are the next steps? Wouldn't you like your prospects to say, okay, Jan, okay, Molly, okay, Ryan, okay, Mario, right? Okay, Edwin, what are the next steps? Versus you having to be like, okay, so I'll call you next Tuesday. And what we'll do is like, right? They understand the process, so they're getting the business. So when you're consciously communicating, things are different. Now, hey, I wanted to take a pause. I wanted to invite you. My partner, Cody May, and I are doing an event with Sharon Srivatsa. He's going to be one of our keynote speakers in Las Vegas on August 1st. This event is limited to about maybe max 80 people. It's going to be a very small, intimate event where we're going to be able to talk, ask questions, really dig into what's causing you to not have the sales that you want, what's causing you not to attract the right customers you want into your world, how to monetize what's going on with buyer agency, how to say the right words in a post-COVID world, but more importantly, what not to say in a post-lockdown world that's going to trigger that resistance, that sales friction, right? That's going to cause the buyer and the seller who raised their hand, they came to their open house to go work with the top agents down the street. Well, we're going to teach you in this one day jam-packed event, right? We're going to start on time and we might run a few minutes late. I've been known to go a little late. So bring your snacks, right? Bring a jacket. It might be cold in the room. I don't know. Might be hot outside, but it'll be hotter with what we're teaching you, right? We're going to teach you the post-lockdown skills that nobody in the industry is talking about. Everybody's talking about just work harder, go get new scripts. You guys, the scripts don't matter. If nobody teaches you how to utilize the scripts don't matter. So I wanted to especially invite you to be a guest of ours. All right. Like I said, it's intimate. Tickets are limited. There is actually going to be a lunch and learn with Sharon, right? Sharon will be our special guest and he's going to drop a lot of nuggets. If you don't know, Sharon Srivatsa is the sitting president of Real Brokers, right? And one of the most beautiful things about what he says is that it just means that I work for my agents. The greatest thing about this event is that I and Cody and Sharon are here to work for you. We are here to teach you things that you can implement immediately to get immediate results in your business. That's the goal, is that you leave with something tangible that you can put into power the next day and actually go out and book more appointments. The number one challenge that teams have, the number one challenge that solo agents have, the number one challenge that even our top agents that are doing $400,000, $500,000, $600,000 as solo agents a year say is, Vikram, I have more time in my day than I have appointments. If I could just learn how to book more appointments more effectively, I could double, triple, quadruple my business. I could do six figures all day long. I could do, because of their price points, right? You know, they're $20,000, $30,000 price points. We could do 4 to 5 transactions, Vic. We just don't have enough appointments. We're going to teach you my exact framework on how to open the conversation. They're called trust-based openers. Right? Wouldn't you rather have a trust-based opener than some of the stuff that they've been teaching you? You're like, hey, how you doing? How's life? How's the football game? Oh, how was your weekend? And the prospect's like, isn't that how you feel? We're going to teach you exactly that. We're going to teach you the right tonality to use, right? I'm going to teach you how to go from a trust-based opener to an overarching goal. The reason the prospect actually showed up to the open house. No more assumptions. I'm going to teach you exactly what to say to get them to open up to you and tell you everything you need to know. So you don't have to chase anymore. right? And then I'm going to teach you exactly how to use the game plan frame, the exact frame that I've used in 7 businesses to generate tens of thousands of appointments for myself and my clients, the exact words, the framework, the mindset behind it. It's a 3-step formula that will guarantee you more appointments than you'll know what to do with, just like our clients are doing right now. All right. So if you want to be my guest, there is a link below. All right. There is a link below. There might even be a discount code below, depending on when you see this. There might even be a $100 discount link below for you. I can't make any promises, but click the link, get the ticket. I promise you the value of this will be well worth its weight in gold. And if not, I'll give you a little bonus because this might be the first time you're hearing me. I want you to come in. I want you to learn the skills. All right. So the first thing is become a professional. Second thing is learn the skills of conscious communication. Well, what's the third thing then, Vikram? You need to have the right frameworks and formula to bake the cake, right? It's not just, hey, here's a 50-page manual on exactly what to say and how to say it. How do I put it together? When do I use the curiosity tone? When do I use the familiarity tone? When do I use the warrior energy? When do I use a little bit of empathy? When do I become aspirational, right? And talk about what they really want. What would life be like in that new home? What would life be? How would life be different, Susan? You and your daughters had the safety and security, right, of being in a neighborhood that was safe so that when you're at work, you're not worried about the kids. How would life feel when you're late at night at the hospital saving lives, but you're worried about the most important 2 lives in your world, your 14-year-old daughter and your 12-year-old daughter? How would it feel to be in that new neighborhood? And I know rates are high and I know prices are high, but how would it feel when you're actually there supporting the most important 2 lives in your world while you're saving the lives of your community? How would life be different? The empathy. Or tell me, you got that new raise? Awesome. How's life going to be like when you're at the golf club, right? But instead of having to drive there, you could just roll up in the golf cart like your friends are doing. How's life going to feel for you, John, when you're able to do that, right? Aspirational energy. Sometimes you got to be a little playful, right? Sometimes you got to be a little playful. Only 8,000 square feet? You guys only want 8,000 square foot home? Well, tell me, why 8,000 square? Why not go for 12? Don't be ridiculous, Vikram. Nobody needs a 12,000 square foot home. Well, why are we looking at homes like this right now, right? Aspirational, playful, right? What energy do you bring to the conversation, right? When you learn those 3 things, right? When you learn those 3 things, your life changes. And I want to go off on a little rant here. I was reading a Facebook forum, right? And one of the forums, I haven't been banned yet. People don't like the truth. And on the forum, somebody said you should never lower your commission beyond a certain percentage point. Now, many of you know what that percentage point is, and I'm not going to say it because I don't believe that every agent is deserving of whatever the percentage is. Now, we charge 7% on our listings, right? 4.5% would typically stay with us. 2.5% would go to the buyer's agent, right? Now, we would negotiate down to 6, 6.5, 5 with huge bonuses, right? We would do all sorts of things. Let me share something with you. Value is what the customer perceives, right? Value is what the customer perceives they're getting based off of the cost that you're charging, right? So you have 2 cars, okay? You have a Rolls Royce and you have a Mercedes S-Class AMG. The Mercedes S-Class AMG is insanely a beautiful, awesome, incredible car. 800, 700, crazy amounts of horsepower, luxury beyond belief. And so is the Rolls Royce. But the Rolls Royce is going to cost you $400,000, $500,000. And the Mercedes S-Class AMG might cost you $180,000. And then you get like the Honda or the Toyota, right? All 3 have 4 wheels. All 3 get you to the same place. And Toyotas are nice. Don't get me wrong. Like a fully decked out Toyota feels great. Comfortable, leather, technology up the yin yang. But this is going to cost you $70,000. This is going to cost you $180,000. And this is going to cost you $350,000. They're all going to get you to the hospital. It's not like you can drive faster, right? Like 0 to 60, big deal. But if you got somebody in the back seat sick, you're not going to be smashing the gas and breaking their neck while they're puking and vomiting. You're still going to be driving smooth. Actually, the Toyota might be better, right? Value is what we get. Cost is what we pay. Some of you agents right now have not earned the right to charge a premium commission. I know, don't hate me. Don't hate me. This is the truth. Some of you haven't learned to charge a premium commission. You haven't earned the right to charge 5%, 6%, 7%, 8%, 9%. You haven't earned it. You haven't built the right processes, the skills. You don't have enough experience in the marketplace, right? And if I give you an example, don't hate me. Okay, don't hate me. A McDonald's worker, right? Hey, what do you want today? I'll take your order. Should not be paid the same price as one of my favorite steakhouses, El Gaucho in Bellevue, Washington. It's one of my favorite steakhouses in the world, El Gaucho. They should not be earning the same amount of money. I should not tip the person at McDonald's. Not that I'd go to McDonald's personally, but even In-N-Out. Let's talk about In-N-Out. It's one of the better fast foods. They don't earn a tip. They don't ask for a tip. Why? Because they're doing their job. They're getting paid appropriately, but they're not doing anything extra. But when the waiter from El Gaucho comes over and he remembers my name and he spends some time with me, he asks me about real estate, asks me about business, right? Understands what we're doing there on the event, right? Whether with the client or I'm with my team or whether I'm on a date, right? Understands the nuances, right? Reads my body language, right? If I'm on a date, I don't want to spend $4,000 on a bottle of wine, right? But if I'm with my team or a client, I don't mind spending more. But on a date with somebody who I don't really know, I'm not trying to impress them, but El Gaucho is where I eat. That's what I like. So I'm going to take a date to a place that I like, right? Now they understand based off of reading me and looking at me, and we communicate non-verbally. They know the menu inside and out. They can ask questions and make recommendations, right? When you ask about the wine and the cocktails, they know everything, right? They can be playful, but they can also be serious depending on the occasion, right? They understand human dynamics and human behavior. Now that person deserves a 25% tip, right? Absolutely, right? Do you see the difference between where we're at skills-wise? I'm not saying that when I first started, I should have been charging top dollar, and I didn't. In fact, there's often times where I did deals for 1%, right? And people are like, why would you do that? That's crazy. Well, that was where my skill level was. My perceived value from the prospect based off of my level of skills that I had at the time were that. Now, as I got better and as I got my processes better and as I built a better team and as I got more experience and as I got more confidence, when people said, hey, we don't believe your perceived value is here, what you're asking for, we believe it's somewhere here. I was like, ooh, the needle's moving up. Now the gap is smaller from where I want to be and where they believe we should be, right? And as I learned how to better handle objections, disarming them, the biggest thing in objection handling is disarming. When I learned how to disarm, we're going to talk a lot about that at our event in Vegas too. It's what we talk a lot about with our clients. How do we disarm the prospect? When I learned to better disarm the prospect, we started getting our commissions closer to what I wanted. It took a couple of years, but then I realized like, hey, we could charge a bonus structure. If we get you more than what you expect, right? Then you pay me a bonus. And they're like all day long because it was a win-win situation, right? So as you get better at what you do, then you start to charge and people see the value is worth it, right? So if you're a newer agent, if you're on a team, right? If you're a team lead and you're like, no, we don't do anything beneath X, Y, and Z price. Let me ask you, is a Mercedes the same price as a Toyota? The same price as a Honda? The same price as a Kia? The same price as a Hyundai? No, because perception from the consumer is that it's not as high of a status. And maybe instead of listening to the forums, you should look at your business and look at your skills and say, hey, right now I'm not a 10% agent. I'm a 2% agent. I'm a 1.5% agent. Let me go get reps. Let me go build. Let me practice versus sitting around hoping and praying that somebody's going to say, well, no, you're actually worth more. Why? Why are you worth more? If you haven't got the skills, if you haven't learned the communication, if you haven't built your back-end processes, right? If you haven't done the reps, if if you don't know the paperwork in and out, right? If you still need help from your broker, like why should you not take a little bit less, get the practice, and then go be the top agent in 12 to 24 months, commands a higher, right? Don't listen to what people in the industry say that are all doing horribly. Listen to what somebody who sold hundreds of millions of dollars, made 7 figures the last 3 years in production every year. We made over 7 figures. It would have been 4, but one year we had a closing that got delayed till the beginning of the year. So we only made $984,000 that year, right? We celebrated, but it wasn't 4 years in a row of 7 figures. Don't listen to people that are out there struggling, that are listening to other people give them bad advice. All right. So I went a little long on this one. Thank God I recorded it. I've done this before where I give like a 40-minute dissertation. I don't record it. I just wanted to go quickly here today and share some things. I really do hope to see you in Vegas. You know, we don't monetize this channel. I don't run ads. Try not to even promote too much. But if you're ready for some of the more advanced post-COVID skills, the foundation skills that are working now, your broker's not training on them, you're not getting the results you want, you're not having the lifestyle you want. There's also a link below to get onto my personal calendar or to one of my business developers' calendars. We'd like to see kind of like where you're at in your business. Like, what are you doing now? Where do you want to be? How are you doing business? Like what that gap looks like. And then, you know, if you feel like we can help you and we feel like we can help you, we could talk about next steps and see one of our programs, whether it be like our online training course where we have hundreds of agents enrolled right now, learning the exact things to do and not do, right? Changing their business overnight. Or maybe one of our more advanced programs where you get to work with me personally, right? And we get to actually role play and practice and build your skills and build your playbooks, right? So that they feel natural for you. We've got a lot of different things that are going on that are pretty cool over here to help you learn those skills. So if you're ready for maybe a little bit more advanced skills, you're like, okay, the YouTube is great, but that's kind of basic. I want the kind of full enchilada. Just click the link below, get on one of our calendars, and let's jam. I'll see you on the next one. Like, subscribe, share, and go sell some real estate.